Welcome to the ThunderCast, your martial athletics podcast produced by the fans, for the fans, with your hosts, Russ Livingood and KD Hugnall. We're bringing you the thundering word on the thundering herd each and every week, so keep it right here. The ThunderCast is on the loose. Oh my. Thanks for downloading another episode of the ThunderCast. You can follow us on ThunderCast at ThunderCast_pod. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram and anywhere else you like to waste time on social media. Chances are pretty good you can find the ThunderCast over there putting out great herd content. I'm back with Jed for yet another week of 5 things and around the herd. And I got to tell you, it's been awesome doing this. It's a lot of fun. It is what do you want to call it? A successful postseason week in herd athletics. Also a very, as the title will indicate, record-breaking week in herd athletics. And we're going to talk about all of that in this episode, but not before we get a word from our sponsors at Leasure Oliver PLLC.
Who do you call if you are ever hurt in a wreck? If you live anywhere in West Virginia, Ohio, or Kentucky, that's Leasure Oliver PLLC. You can find them at 304carwreck.com.
Jed, great to be back with you for another week, bringing some quality herd-related info to the masses, my man.
Yeah, okay, man, good to be back. We're recording a day later than normal. I got a chance to vacation this last week, so we got a few days. Kids were on spring break, so got a chance to get away. But man, I'm back. I'm ready to talk some herd athletics, and we got some good stuff, man.
There's a lot of awesome info for you folks that tune in to listen to the Around the Herd episode or segment of the show. Man, we're going to talk about some records that went down this week all across the athletic department. So we're going to kick it all off, as you know, with at least 5 things every herd fan needs to know, and I'm going to get it started right after this.
And now, here are at least 5 things every herd fan needs to know this week. As always, brought to you by ignite.link, the Tri-State's premier IT management team.
It will not be a true 5 things this week, Jay. We got 6 things that every herd fan needs to know this week. Very, very record-breaking heavy. So let's start off with number 1. We're going to talk about track and field. Trayshawn Smith, Ott Omot, and Cam Hamby all 3 break the men's outdoor triple jump record this week. Let me say that one more time. All 3 broke the outdoor triple jump record that had stood since 1996. Trayshawn Smith has the new mark now at 15.43 meters. Omot is at 15.37 meters, and Hamby at 15.24 meters. So a brand new 1, 2, 3 record book holders in the men's outdoor triple jump. How about that?
That's awesome, man. 30 years that record was held. 30 years. But 15 meters, man. That's stinking high. Yeah, I mean, that's wild, but man, love to see it. You know, Russ and I have talked over the last season. Anytime that I participated and helped with the 5 things, and we've talked a lot about, and you and him have talked a lot about in years past about the jumps and the track and field, and how since bringing it back on the men's side, how it has just continued to do this with records broken, personal best constantly, things like that. So man, this is a great start to the outdoor event. So we're going to talk more about it around the herd, but man, that's awesome, especially to cap at that 1, 2, and 3. That's fantastic.
So we've talked about a lot of records that have gone down in track and field, both on the men's and women's side, but it has really changed trajectory of how these records, personal best, all these things have fallen. The record book has really been rewritten almost from top to bottom in a lot of places since Keith Roberts took over as director of track and field. And I don't think that's by accident. He was very successful in previous stops. So we were excited when Russ and I talked about Roberts coming to the herd, we thought, okay, this looks like it has the potential to change the face of especially men's track and field because they had been gone for so long. And man, it's really been short order, high success in short order, right? And you don't really have to look farther than Trayshawn Smith. That's a name that herd fans ought to know. Performed really well in SBC championships in the indoor season. Now we're in the outdoor season. He's a youngster, man. So you're probably going to see him break and re-break a number of records. But in all the time we've been doing the show, I've never seen one record fall on the same weekend by 3 different guys. So you got a brand new 1, 2, 3. So your old record holder is now number 4 after one meet of a season. That's rarefied air. I love saying that too. That's one of my favorite sayings, rarefied air. Look for more records to fall in the outdoor season for men's track and field, and probably on the women's side as well. Let's go number 2. Softball tied a school record with 6 home runs in a game this past Sunday. This was the 3rd time Marshall has hit 6 homers in a game, and the 3rd straight season that they have done it. I'm not sure that's by accident, since head coach Morgan Zirkle has been at the helm for all 3 of those seasons. Very, very cool. The herd does win, and I won't say they live and die by the long ball, but boy, they sure do thrive by the long ball. It is awesome.
Yeah, man, that's a testament to what Coach Zirkle has done with this squad over the last few years, performing at a very high level, doing some really cool things. I can't predict the future, but I think we're going to be talking about some more softball here, before this episode is said and done, man. But dude, how awesome is that? Anytime you can match school records, break school records, and do those things, competing at a high level, I mean, that's what we want to see our student athletes do, right? You want to see our student athletes do well, break records, and what a testament to what Coach Zirkle has done with this squad this year.
Yeah, but it's more than just Zirk, right? Because you've got 2 all-time herd greats on this on this coaching staff. So it's Coach Zirkle and Allie Harrell, and of course you've got 3rd assistant coach Riley Blampede also. But we're talking hitting right now, but pitching has been phenomenal under new pitching coach Drew Calloway. So we're going to talk about all this stuff, and we see this in real time, week after week. We talked about last week, let's go in and have a good series against Georgia Southern this week. Well, they did, right? And we'll talk about that in Around the Herd. This is just not by mistake. So while we want to give a lot of credit to Coach Zirkle, she'll be the first to tell you that she doesn't do it alone. She's got a great staff around her. And of course, you can't do any of it if you don't have great athletes swinging the bat, throwing the pitches, fielding the ball, throwing the ball. So the herd is just kind of stacked from top to bottom. And that leads right into the number 3 thing this week, Jed. Softball is up again in the rankings, now ranked 8th in the D1 softball mid-major top 25 and 9th in Softball America's version of that same poll, up 4 spots and 6 spots respectively from a week ago.
Yeah, both polls being in the top 10 amongst our peers, as we're now into conference play and competing well so far. I mean, it's long past due that the herd gets the recognition that it deserves. And I mean, like you said earlier, man, I mean, we're breaking records by doing, the home runs. We've got some phenomenal players doing some phenomenal things. I mean, this is a very, very good herd team. And it's good to see that the national recognition is keeping up with the fact that, this is a good squad, a great squad rather. And I think they're going to do some very cool things as this season progresses. And then as we move into the postseason play. But go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I'm piggybacking off of what you're saying. So what we're seeing now is versus teams in the past where Marshall had really good defenses and really good offenses. They didn't go as deep in the circle. So we had to rely on that number 1 ace to try to carry the load for the lion's share of the season. And we're not having to see that right now. You're seeing a lot of the load being shared by Paige Maynard, Jules King, Maddie Veal. You're spreading those pitches out across more players, which over the long haul of a season is going to keep them stronger, longer, right? And that's where the Herd fell short several years ago under then Coach Megan Smith. Made it all the way to the SBC tournament finals against Louisiana, a really great Louisiana team at their house. And it was a pitcher's duel in that one. I mean, Sid Nestor threw her ass off in that game, in her final game in a Herd uniform, and the Herd lost 1-0. But you have to think, if she doesn't have to go 3 games in 3 days, does that one look a little bit different? That's a lot of pitching to throw in 3 or 4 days, right?
Yeah.
And now you're seeing how more of that workload can be spread across a pitching staff. And it really makes me start to believe more and more that Marshall has more of what it takes to get over that hump and maybe capture that Sun Belt championship this year. It's still way too early to say that, but these girls are good. This team is good.
Yeah.
And they've got, if they stay healthy, they're going to be really, really daggone hard to beat for sure.
Right. Well, yeah. And if they do well in postseason play, get an opportunity to grab that Sun Belt championship, it's not going to be because they got lucky that day. It's because that they've put the pieces together. They've got the pitchers, the batters, they got everybody in the right place with the depth that they need to make that run happen this year. And you made a good point. They've got to stay healthy. I mean, that's the biggest key. We've seen this in other sports this year, across all sports, where we've seen some injuries and things like that, just hurt and decimate one of our teams. And so we stay healthy. It wouldn't be a fluke if we make a run through that tournament and have ourselves a title this year.
No, this is not a fluky team. This is a really good team from top to bottom. They've got a number of players that can carry the load at the plate offensively, and you've got a whole slew of great defenders out there. The pitching looks solid. I'm telling you, man, get your butt out to the dot and watch a series. This is a really good team to watch, and I mean, they're doing some work at the dot this year. He's like, chances are really good you'll go out there and see a win if you go watch Herd softball at the dot. Let's move into number 4. Baseball, in its own right, had a whole slew of records broken in their 14-inning, 17-16 epic game against Georgia Southern. New records set in that one. A combined 19 strikeouts for Marshall pitchers, 9 plate appearances in a game by Evan Batone, Tyler Kamerer, AJ Havrilla, 9 at-bats in a game by Kamerer and Havrilla, 4 walks in the game by Oliver Service, which was just tied the previous weekend by his teammate, Clary Simpson, and finally 7 runs in a single extra inning is a school record off the top of the great guru Steve Cotton's head. Could not recall more runs scored in a single extra inning in Herd history. And that's as good as it gets for us, man. If Steve can't think of anything better, then that's the gold standard for us.
Yeah, so, exactly.
First of all, I had to go to bed early. I couldn't even watch the ending of that game. So I woke up the next morning, literally opened up Twitter and went to Herd Baseball and said, please tell me we won that game, because it was too good, right? But think about all that went down in just that one game alone.
Yeah, man, and we're seeing this, and we've had some ups and downs this season, but this is we talked about this with baseball or softball just a minute ago. This team has some depth. They're able to, they're putting out good performances. I think there's still a little bit of a curve that we need, a little bit of a hump that we need to get over in some of these games, but man, they put in the work, put in the effort, and man, what a game to go all that time and find a way to win. And they did it in record-breaking fashion. Man, fits with the theme of the episode, doesn't it?
The records just keep on falling. Number 5, before dropping the series finale against Georgia Southern, they had the sweep, man, and that finale just got away from them. Marshall had started 5-0 in Sun Belt this season, which is the best conference start since all the way back in 1935. I would imagine there are very few, if any, Herd fans still drawing a breath from the last time the Herd started 5-0 in conference play. They started 8-0 in 1935, but were then members of the Buckeye Athletics Association. So Hell of a quick start for Greg Beals and the boys in conference play. Exactly what has to happen to be thought of as a true contender. Look, at this point in the season, there are really good baseball teams. Southern Miss is at the tops of a lot of polls. Coastal Carolina is up there as well. It's not the road is not going to get that much easier in certain spots for the Herd, and it's going to get extremely more difficult in other spots this season. But a 5-0 start was pretty awesome, you got to admit.
Yeah, it absolutely. We've, when we entered the Sun Belt, years ago, a few years back, we were entering into we knew it was going to be a brutal football conference. We were able to bring over the schools from Conference USA, and from there to build a great soccer conference, right? Well, one of the things that the Sun Belt was known for already was a phenomenal baseball conference, and one of the things that well, not one of the things, there was many things that we needed to do to compete with that, and one was getting a stinking stadium, right? So we did that, so now our guys can, we can recruit, we can bring players in and give them a place that they can practice on campus. And then, we were able to have some recruiting cycles, and we saw some magic over the last couple of years, and saw spurts of talent and spurts of greatness. And now this year, I think we're seeing yet another incline and uptick into that with the additional depth, being able to win some of these tough games. And, well, proof's in the pudding, man. You get off to a 5-0 start, best in, almost the last 100 years. That's 96 years.
Pretty close.
That's your best start in 96 years. We're on the right track. We're doing some good things. Coach Beals is doing some great things with this team. We're competitive in a competitive conference, which is what we want to be, right?
Yeah.
So I think this is a great indicator of I'm hoping things to come, because we're getting into some really tough tough games here coming up. But I think we're going to do. I think we're going to surprise some people.
Yeah, and we got to. We'll talk about that in Around the Herd. There's a marquee series coming up real soon, and that's going to be a big measuring stick for where the Herd is at now and where they could potentially be on down the road. Again, if you are able to stay healthy, that's the big key. But I as I see successes of the Herd baseball team, particularly this year, I'm always reminded, and I said this to Beals when I did the preseason interview with him, I'm reminded of what former AD Christian Spears said when Beals was hired. He was like, we can get the pieces in place for him, he's going to win, and he's going to win big. Mm-hmm. And it felt like, okay, this piece isn't there, that piece isn't there, that piece isn't there. I'm not talking about players, like the stadium, big piece needed to be there. And to what you're saying, we got that in place. He was able to recruit better, the field house, like all these things. Started putting some things in place, and he's starting to win. And he's starting to win fairly big. You went from being an afterthought in this conference to, oh, damn, Marshall finished, fourth last year. What? That ain't supposed to happen. So these teams that had traditionally been way above Marshall, all of a sudden we're looking up at the Herd like, what happened here? Well, it's Beals, it's the staff, it's the recruiting, it's the development of these players, these guys. And now as fans, you get to get your butts out to Jack Cook Field and see it firsthand, right?
Yep.
It's just, and I know some of our conference mates, not many of them, if any, are listening to our show on a weekly basis. I get that. But if they are, they're going, listen to these knuckleheads. They're out here talking about being 5-0 in a conference. Like, awesome job, guys. Like, yeah, for us it is. Yeah. We're still very much trying to create a blueprint of who we are as a baseball school. Mm-hmm. Some of you guys have benefited from decades of high level play, conference championships, postseason, like all that. And you get that just naturally occurring in the South, I feel like, because you can just play all year long. I mean, let's face it, we get frozen over up here. Ain't nobody playing baseball in February, but down here where I'm at, they're playing baseball in February somewhere. Yeah. So it is what it is. Number 6, final, the last thing that we're going to talk about this week, David Walsh will be the keynote speaker at the fountain ceremony on April 11th. Walsh was the quarterback of the Marshall football team from 1970 to 1973, running the scout team as a freshman for that 1970 team, and then staying on the team after the crash to be part of the young Thundering Herd.
Man, that's very cool. And we've had a lot of really great speakers. The fountain ceremony in the spring, is always a good time for remembrance. And we've had, like I said, a lot of great speakers, and having David there as a member of that, young Thundering Herd, having witnessed, what had happened, the aftermath of the plane crash and everything. And just, anytime you get, a speaker like that who was involved with the program before and after the tragic event, it's just their insight into it is just, it's always very fascinating and very awesome and, motivational, really, to hear. So very, very cool that there are folks like David that are willing to come and speak and kind of in a way relive, some very painful times, but also, talk about how we were able to rise from that. So very, very cool that he was that he's going to be speaker. For those of you that can't attend, we always as many as you can't do it. It's always a good event to be there and take that time to hear those folks speak and be there for that ceremony. So
yeah,
very, very cool.
It's pretty cool. It's the, of course, the spring ceremony is one where you're kicking the fountain back on. So it's more of a rebirth moment. I mean, it is what it is. It's still part of the fabric of Marshall, and it's, if you went to Marshall, then it's a part of your fabric as well. But it's an often forgotten about part of the spring game weekend. Everybody's thinking tailgate, football game, have fun, give me an excuse to go watch the guys, pads popping, all that thing. But it's like, oh yeah, there's the fountain ceremonies also going on, that day. So plan for that, to be a part of that. And one note I want to talk about David Walsh is some fans might not recognize that name as a former player. You might recognize that name from the newspaper. He was a sports writer for the Herald Dispatch and then with HD Media for more than 50 years, So a lot of people are like, what? That's the same guy? Yes, that's the same guy. So he stayed in and around Huntington and was involved in the sports scene, both covering Marshall and high school sports for 5 freaking decades, man. If anybody knows Huntington, especially from an athletic standpoint, and Marshall, it's David Walsh. He covered it for more than 50 years, and he still does things from time to time on a more freelance basis. But hell of a guy with a hell of a great perspective. It'd be a great fountain ceremony to be a part of. If you're gonna make plans, we'll have some more info for you here in a little bit about the spring game. But if you're gonna make plans to be there, notch out that amount of time to go over and watch the fountain ceremony. That'll be awesome. Jed, if you got any final words, let me have them here. Otherwise, it's time to go around the herd.
No, let's do it.
Here we go.
And now, Layer 1 Solutions, your experts in business connectivity infrastructure, takes you around the herd.
Well, we're going to start with track and field. We've already talked a little bit about this. We're going to dive into it a little bit deeper. But their first outdoor meet of the season, as we mentioned, had some major success at the River City Relays. Obviously, we talked about the men's triple jump. Finishing with the first, second, and third. As far as the record and all those things.
Yeah.
But we had 12. Well, way back up here, we had some other notable finishes. Marshall swept the podiums at 4 different events with 1, 2, and 3 finishes as a team. We also had 12 wins at the event. Bandria Hodges, the women's 200 meters and the women's 100 meter. Justin Lipscomb won the men's 5K. Trayshawn Smith which that name should sound familiar from the 5 things, men's high jump and men's triple jump. Laura Check, that's another familiar name. Women's long jump. Cole Miller, men's long jump. Markayla Moore was the women's hammer throw. Grady and Graham, the men's hammer throw and men's discus throw. Gabriel Uraka, the men's shot put, and Eliza Williams, the women's triple jump. There were also some other top 3 all-time program marks set. Katie, what are your thoughts, man?
Right off the rip, winning sprints to me is always awesome. 100 meter, 200 meter, that's always awesome. I mean, winning anything's awesome, but I love winning sprints for some reason. It's not like it's any more important to me than distance runs or anything like that. I just think it's freaking awesome if you're like, I'm fastest one here. I am the fastest one here, right? And then the other thing I picked up from that is that this was heavily, heavily victorious for the herd in field events, right? The jumps and the hammer throw, discus throw, all these type of things. That to me is cool because, you know, we've performed well and won conference championships in some field events like pole vaulting and things like that. But I can't recall us ever being like uber competitive in hammer throw or discus or things like that, you know? And I think that's pretty cool. I like that there's winning going on in new areas. Let me put it that way. But again, man, it's a program wide elevation, men's side and women's side. I mean, Trayshawn Smith performed extremely well in the indoor conference championships. Justin Lipscomb performed extremely well. Laura Check as well. You know, these are athletes that if you're a herd fan, you just need to learn. That's all there is to it. I saw earlier that Markayla Moore she either won something or was currently in like first or second place after day 1 or something. So another name you just need to know if you're a herd fan. I understand these rosters for the track and field teams are big. There's a lot of athletes involved in them. And it's hard to learn everybody. I don't know everybody. But if you keep hearing the same names over and over and over again, it should register in your mind like, oh, okay, like this is someone to contend with on a conference level. Maybe I should pay a little bit closer attention, right? And I mean, it's like, you know who Joe Sean Barbie is. You know who CDRW is, right? Because RB1, QB1, right? I know who Adrian Norton is, arguably going to be wide receiver 1 this year. So these are all guys that you know because of their on-field performance. Same deal in track and field. These are conference championship level athletes that we're talking about here. So do yourself a favor, pay attention to track and field. It's freaking easiest events to like learn. Who doesn't know what a 100-meter dash is, right? Who doesn't know what a hammer throw is? And if you don't, I mean, it's basically like slinging a cannonball attached to a chain. But I'm saying these are like easy to follow, easy to learn. Yeah. You can glance at the standings and know what they mean, right? It's not like learning how to score bowling or something. You know, it's very cut and dry, very straightforward. Everybody knows how to do it. That's why I'm a fan of track and field, is because I'm an idiot and I know what I'm looking at. You know what I mean? Like I'm not a sports guru from top to bottom, but track and field is easy for me to follow. So knowing who our top performing athletes are is really easy for me to do too. And I think that's why I like track and field so much.
Well, it's just the raw human strength, right? It's who's the fastest, who can jump the furthest, jump the highest, throw the furthest, you know. It's like there's definitely skill in it, and there's form.
Sure.
You can't just go out there and just run without stretching. You know, there's definitely form to your run. There's nuance to it, but you're showing you're the best of the best when it comes to those things. And the one thing that I do really like about those, and I like about the other individual sports, is it's individual. So when you go out and you win, you're the best. Football team goes out there and wins a game. You've got contributors and different things, and it's fun in its own right. But those individual competitions where I'm top dog, you're top dog. And there's a lot of names that we mentioned that you're going to hear more and more and more. And like you said, KD, the Herd fan, you're as a Herd fan, you should familiarize yourself with these names because you're going to be hearing them more and more, and they're going to be doing some really cool things.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a reason that 2 years later, we still talk about like names like Abby Herring, right?
Mm-hmm.
24 records broken and rebroken in distance running, and Kylie Maston, all-time greats, because we said their names over and over and over for 4 freaking years.
Yeah.
And they're just in this echelon, all them. I'm not saying that any of these athletes will or won't be that, but I mean, it's easy to learn the best of the best on your squad, right?
Absolutely. Well, we're going to take it over to men's soccer.
Okay.
You have one more opportunity to check out this Herd team this spring at home. That game will be at the Vet on Saturday at 2 p.m., and that'll be against Louisville. So if you have the opportunity this Saturday, go and check it out.
I mean, is there a reason not to go unless you have other stuff going on? I mean, it's men's soccer. It's probably going to be pretty sunny and nice. And I mean, the things start to add up. I don't know. I say this every episode, but I get jealous because there's a lot of times we're sitting around the house here on Saturday and we're like, man, what do we want to do today? We want to do this and that. And I can't just shoot across town with my wife and son and watch soccer for a couple hours and then do something else, and do something else. But I'm jealous of that. I don't want to go watch USF play.
Yeah.
Nah. Sorry. Wrong shade of green, homie.
Yeah.
And they're really close to where I am, and I have zero interest in going to watch USF do anything unless they're playing the Herd.
Well, and it's early to tell. I mean, we've got spring season here. But I know some people that went to the last game. I wasn't able to make it. Had some things going on. I think Herd fans are going to be very pleasantly surprised at this team and what Coach Grassi is going to be doing this year. And I'm really excited for the fall. I know it's a little ways away, but scratch that itch. Go check out some Herd soccer, this Saturday, and it should be a really, really good game.
See, I think about stuff like that, and I don't want to say pleasantly surprised. I would like to say you have an expectation of a high-performing men's soccer team, right? Like we as Herd fans just have that now. And year in and year out, players will come and players will go and players will transfer and exhaust eligibility, and the roster turns over. And let's be honest, it's full of names that we have a hard time like pronouncing sometimes. So it's really hard to like lose touch with who's doing what and who's who. And I get that. But still, as a Herd fan, I think there is a very, very high expectation for this men's soccer team. Probably more so than just about every other program in the athletic department. I think at this point, Marshall fans just expect a top 10 program in the country because of the fact that Chris Grassi and his staff has proven year in and year out that they can make those changes, take those hits, rebuild this roster, and still churn out a top-ranked team. So don't be pleasantly surprised. Maintain this level of accountability for a top-tier championship-level team and just show up and expect what you want to happen will happen. I mean, I kind of feel that way about it now. I'm not trying to put any added pressure on him, but like, hey, you did this yourself. You just kept putting great team after great team out here. Golly. So go out there and don't be pleasantly surprised. Go out there and expect to see something great because I don't think you'll be let down. That's what I'm getting at.
Right. Oh, for sure. And I think I used the not the right terminology there. So I'm glad you said that with the expectation because I think the angle I was going on was, we unfortunately had an early exit from the NCAA tournament, this past year. I don't think the expectation that we had, again, I love that we talk about this and go, well, we didn't really meet the expectation by, being ranked and going to the NCAA tournament this year, for the, multiple times in a row. But, I think there was a little bit of this, especially when you've been at the top, right? You've won that game, the year before, you had gone to the championship game and you were there, man. You should have won it that year. And then a little bit of a disappointing season. So, I think my point that I'm trying to make is I think you are going to see the level of soccer, not that we didn't have it last year, but you're going to see a level of soccer this year that, you maintain health. You don't have some of the issues that you had last year with players getting hurt and staying hurt. You're going to see I think you're going to see a national championship caliber team this year.
You almost have to.
What I was making.
Yeah, you almost have to. You have to be a top 1-2 team in the Sun Belt, or Herd fans are just going to be like, "What happened? We fell off a cliff. What the hell?
Right.
Third? That we don't do that here."
No, we win national championships around here. So, but make your way out to the Vet on Saturday, everyone. I mean, it's going to be a great time. It's always a great time watching Herd play soccer,
for sure.
Well, we're going to swing on over to tennis. Conference play beat App State 5-2. Great way to open the conference play. Picked up the doubles point and then got singles victories from Johanna Strom. That name should sound familiar. Alina Morkrinska, Nor El Quazani. Please forgive me if I mispronounce your name. And Talia Smith. Great performances from all those ladies and getting the W.
It's what needed to happen. That's what we said. So now I think, what are they on a collision course with James Madison this week?
Yep, that's on
Friday. The big one. That's one of the big ones, man. That I told you guys. It's been Old Dominion, James Madison, and Marshall over the past couple of years, 3-4 years now, like vying for conference supremacy, and Marshall has not been able to get over the hump and beat James Madison and Old Dominion, like respectively. Like both of them in the same season, or they get bounced in the conference tournament or something by one of them. So this is another measuring stick weekend for the Herd.
Yeah,
they can still lose this and sweep the rest of the year and come out ahead and be all right. But this is a measuring stick weekend for the Herd.
Yeah, you alluded to this, but just to make it clear, as we're recording on Thursday this week, so tomorrow, Friday at 1 p.m. is JMU, and then ODU on Sunday at 11. So JMU, ODU back to back. So here's our chance to go in, boom, boom. Let's come Sunday afternoon, we're gonna see where we're at.
Now the thing that goes along with that is these matches are home matches. So you're not going on the road for either of these. You got ODU and JMU at the house. So a little bit of a home court advantage. Let's see if they can get it done. Just as quickly as the season started, it is almost already over. That's how quickly it is. You got JMU, ODU, and you got 2 more conference matches, and then you got 2 more non-cons, and you're already into Sunbelt Conference Championship time, Sunbelt Conference Tournament time. That's how quickly it is.
Yeah. A couple things I did want to note here was Alina Mokrinska, and I'm butchering her name, and I apologize, and I'm sorry to you. Just at me and telling me I'm an idiot, but she's extended her winning streak to 8 straight at number 3 singles, and Johanna Strom improved to 8-2 in spring singles play. So these ladies are consistently winning and doing very well on an individual basis as well, which is why obviously we're winning overall, but we're getting some strong individual performances from them. So.
Well, Strom's been doing it for years. She's a senior, so she's been winning for years. She's been one of the top players on the roster since she got here, And who is it you said? Talia Smith? Is that who you said has won 8 in a row or something like that?
That is Alina.
Oh, just a sophomore. How about that? Youngster nipping on the heels here to take over the greatness spot. I love it.
Yeah, as one starts to phase out, another back goes. So no, these ladies are doing fantastic, and very excited to see how they do this weekend against JMU and ODU. Well, we're going to take it over to men's golf. Mobile Bay Intercollegiate will be on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, hosted by South Alabama and Mobile, Alabama. So once that event takes place, obviously come back here to the ThunderCast as we take it around the Herd next week, and we will provide you with this all the what you need to know how that event went down. So good luck to them, and hopefully we can see a little bit of an improvement from the team as a whole.
Right on.
All right, keeping it with golf. Women's golf will be at the Colonial Classic in Richmond, Kentucky on Monday and Tuesday. So
Go to
bring you the
Buc-ee's.
results. We will give you the results of those next week as well.
That's I don't know. I'm sure you caught that, but if you're in
Yeah.
Richmond, Kentucky, you got to go to Buc-ee's.
So I was driving back we went down to Tennessee, and I was going to stop at Buc-ee's. And
Yeah.
did not. I didn't know if I could get in and out in a
Get
timely
in.
fashion. Get in and out. Well, I was towing. So
Oh, no. That's not an in and out thing. I mean, that's like chill, and that's an hour. You might as well just commit to it. You know, I mean, we do. That's a designated stop. Just relax and chill. This ain't a quick gas up and go. Nah.
Right.
Nah.
Yeah, you go and
Eat,
take it all,
chill,
eat all
relax.
in,
Yeah. Let the dog out. All that kind of stuff. Just relax for a little bit. Yeah. Go to Buc-ee's.
Go to Buc-ee's. I've been before. It's definitely something. But
what's your go-to? Do you have a go-to? Like when you eat,
a go-to?
You eat there? Yeah, you eat there.
Yeah.
What's your go-to? You got a favorite thing?
I haven't been there enough to have a favorite thing.
Oh my God, let's get off topic for a second here because
I think what I had. Yeah, when I had there was that brisket sandwich.
That's pretty good. Yeah,
I think that's what I had there. Because what it was is my kids had an archery event. This was last. Maybe back in December, maybe January, maybe I can't remember. But we did an event way down in all the way in Somerset. So that was our first time going to Buc-ee's. So I had my two oldest with me, and we went, and it was so late at night. So we're stumbling in there, just
doesn't even matter.
But we took it all in, grabbed some food. Yeah, man, it was.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I like the brisket sandwich. That's pretty good. Oddly enough, they have a cold Italian sub that's it's like in the refrigerated section. That thing is amazing. That's a banging sandwich, man. And you're probably thinking like, all right, really? No, it's a banging sandwich. It's really, really good. I also like the cinnamon rolls that are like as big as your head. That's But my favorite thing is like it doesn't matter if you're in there at 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. There's gonna be like something good to eat and a very clean bathroom.
You know what? Okay, I'm glad you brought that up because that was one of the things. So it was my first time through Buc-ee's, and I've got a text group with some buddies of mine. They're like, so what did you think? I said I could eat off the floor in that bathroom.
Yeah,
you really could. It was I noticed that. I was very impressed.
I'll tell you the other thing that they get 1,000 bajillion million% right is that when you use a stall, you close a freaking door that goes all the way to the floor and all the way to the ceiling. It's a door that shuts and locks, and there's no question whether somebody's in there or not in there.
Right.
There's no awkward knock. It's like, this is my space for a little while. And it will, when it's not, it can be someone else's. But that I appreciate. No swinging metal stall door with a gap right in the exact wrong spot, to make it awkward. Just a big wooden door that goes all the way to the floor. It's chef's kiss, man. They got it right. They got it right. Man, let's get back on the herd, shouldn't we?
I guess the takeaway here is if you haven't stopped at Buc-ee's, stop at Buc-ee's, use the bathroom, get you a sandwich from the refrigerated section and a big cinnamon roll and enjoy it. So.
If you're listening, anyone from Buc-ee's HQ, we have sponsorships available. Yeah, I'm just saying, we have a spot somewhere for you. We can fit it in your budget. I'm sure.
We'll plug you. Let's talk Herd baseball. Broke out the bats all weekend against Georgia Southern. As we talked about, winning in that 14-inning game, 17-16 to start the series, which was a wild game. It was 9-9 after 9 innings. Mm-hmm. Marshall added a run in extras, and Georgia Southern immediately tied it up again. Then at the top of the 14th, Marshall erupted for 7 runs, only to see Georgia Southern pick up 6 in the bottom of the inning. But the Herd hung on and was able to win that game. Won game 2, 13-5. And then unfortunately dropped the final game of the series 18-12. Mm-hmm. They hosted number 17 WVU on Tuesday. And although we had some opportunities in a couple innings, lost 3-0, while only managing 1 hit amongst their 9 base runners, 5 walks and 3 hits by pitch. So not a way that I like to see walking away from a game against them guys. But hey, that
Look,
is a
man,
non-conference
it's a
game.
top 25 team, and you
Yeah.
held them to 3. This is a pretty explosive West
Yep.
Virginia baseball team. They're a top 25 team for a reason. They're really good. And this is midweek games. Yeah, I get it. It's not your weekend starters, and you're doing your pitchers pitched well. The bats were just dead, but they did kind of labor out 5 walks and try to turn that into something. But you got to have some hits, man. When you're playing a top 25 team in a 1-game series, essentially, you've got to have something going on at the plate. And Marshall just had nothing going on at the plate. So,
right.
I mean, credit where credit's due. Those guys came in on the road and beat the Herd at Jack Cook Field. They're a top 25 team that Marshall absolutely hung with. And even though in a loss, I think they learned a little bit about themselves. It's not like they rolled in there. I mean, think about it. They just got beaten the previous Sunday 18-12. They gave up 18 freaking runs to Georgia Southern. And they come back a couple days later and give up 3 runs to a top 25 team. So you get a little offense going. All of a sudden that makes, maybe it's a 3-2 game, 3-anything. 3-1 even looks better. But they didn't come out and get blasted 18-0 in 5 or 18-0 in 7 and call it a day. You know what I mean? It's like you hung with them. So
yeah,
little you find out who you are in games like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of games like that, it ain't gonna get any easier because number 15 Coastal Carolina comes to town. Just to give you a little bit of background on Coastal, if you haven't been following them, they just won all 3 games against JMU by run rule and have won 27 straight conference games. They came from behind to beat Clemson earlier in the week. So this is going to be a hard one. And
this is a good game. This is a good team coming into the Jack.
Yep. And we're going to really, like you said earlier, man, we're going to really see what we're made of with this one. This is going to be how are we going to compete against top tier?
Well, yeah, because this is one of the teams that you could look at and maybe think, all right, tournament time, this could be one of the teams in the finals. Like, why would you not say that? This is the national runner-up last year. I'm talking like College World Series final. They are in the national championship game. Let's call it what it is. And why would you not look at them and go, okay, they're probably going to be the favorite or one of the top 2 favorites to make it to the SBC finals. And this is your chance to find out what you're made of the most, because Southern Miss does not appear on the Herd's baseball schedule this year, and that's your other top team in the conference right now. It's those 2. I don't know the full conference slate. So if those 2 teams are playing each other in the regular season, that's going to be must-see baseball for SBC baseball fans. Going to be must-see. Yeah. One note that I do not know the name of the player. I will say this, but I did see just in passing on social media that one of Coastal's top hitters is not going to be available for the series. He was injured, some kind of injury. He's going to miss a little time. But it doesn't matter. These guys are freaking good. They're really good.
Deep.
We're talking about hoping to make it to a conference final, maybe win a conference championship, maybe sneak in that large bid. These guys are thinking natty. That's where they are as a program. They're thinking natty. Now, can Marshall go in and steal the series? 100% they can. You never know what happens. Like college baseball is wild, man. It is wild. One day your bats are on fire. The next day your bats are dead as hell. Like it is a weird, wild sport. One day your pitchers are just dealing. The next day they're just not. I mean, you just don't know what's going to happen. You have no clue. So you can't turn these games out and just be like, well, this is a sweep. This is what's going to happen. So you just write it off as a loss and call it a day. You can't do that. So you got to go in prepared to give it your all. Obviously, you got to go in thinking, all right, we can do that. Last year we were in Conway and faced these guys. They were number 21 in the nation at the time, and we got swept on the road. And it wasn't that close, honestly. They beat us 11-1. They beat us 10-0 in first 2 games were done in 7 innings, run ruled in 7, and the finale on well, it was a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. First off, but the finale on Saturday was a 13-5 game. So we got outscored 34-6 against those guys. It could be more of the same, but you just never know. So you go in there, you steal a game in that win streak that they got going on.
Mm-hmm.
Teams go, okay, they didn't get swept. Okay, they got one from Coastal. You go in and you win the series. Conference peers really go, holy hell, what the hell's going on with the Herd? You know, something crazy happens, you sweep the series, people are really going to be talking. Really going to be talking. So my best advice to you as a Herd fan, buy a ticket, get your ass out to Jack Cook Field, make sure the Herd has a home field advantage for a top 25 team coming into Huntington, West Virginia this weekend.
Yeah, and you've got 3 opportunities. You've got, as we record, tomorrow, Friday at 6 o'clock, Saturday at 4, and Sunday at 1. So pick 1, pick 2, or heck, go to all 3 games. Cheer on the Herd. I mean, you know, you've got a ranked team coming into town. Let's show out for them.
No doubt.
And then we've got a midweek game next week, Tuesday. Ohio Bobcats come to town. So,
Ooh, battle for the bell. All right.
Battle for the bell, baseball style. So a lot of opportunities this weekend and next week. Check out the Herd. So you know what to do. Get your tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Taking it on over to softball. Swept Georgia Southern 11-6, 1-0, and 9-3 at the dock this past weekend. And then picked up a good out-of-conference win against Miami of Ohio. That was on Tuesday, winning that game 5-4. Mm-hmm. Thoughts on that, KD?
Great series, first of all. Sweeping at home, improving the record at Dot Hicks Field, setting a single-game home run record, or tying a single-game home run record. The usual suspects are just performing like you would expect the usual suspects to perform. Ava Blake cranked out her 10th home run. I got to say, the game where they were bashed out 6 home runs. These weren't like eke it over the fence home runs. These girls were trying to hit that shit to Barbersville. You know what I'm saying? Like these were like no doubters. It was unbelievable. Yeah. I was catching the highlights, you know, on social media and stuff, and I'm like, golly, man, they're trying to hit it down there to the vet, for crying out loud. But this was just an outpouring of offense this week in this series. I saw great defensive play after great defensive play. A lot of hustle type plays in this series. The things you like to see, those small things that go largely unnoticed that will win you games in tight ball games, in a certain crunch time situation in the game. Those pop up, and if you make that play again, it's the difference between winning a game. Yeah. So while all these home runs were great, our pitchers pitched phenomenally well. It's the little things. It's the extra effort to not, you know, get the diving catch instead of playing it off of a hop. You know, like it's that type of thing. It's effort to the nth degree. This team is awesome to watch. They are a lot of fun. And I know I sound like a broken record. I can't help it. There's only so many great things you can say about a team that ultimately circles back into saying, get out and watch the damn team. Yeah. They're really, really fun to watch. There should not be an empty seat in the dot. Now, granted, we don't have a ton of like chair backs, but those are generally full. The bleachers stay pretty full. The outfield, they have fans out there, but I'm telling you, man, they should be cranking out 700-800 fans a game. That's how good they are. And I mean, they're doing well. They're getting 500-600 fans a game. They should be doubling that. You know, the outfield bleachers should be full. I don't know if they moved them. If they're still out there, they should be full. But people love to do the camping chair and tailgate, like casual style out, and that's awesome. I'm glad they do that. But man, if you're not going to the dot, you are missing freaking out. You are missing out.
Yep. Unfortunately, you will not have a chance to check them out this weekend. Because they will be at Texas State for a weekend series, Friday at 7, Saturday at 3, and Sunday at 11. So they hit the road, and but they will be coming back home. And when they do, like Katie said, go check them out.
Yeah, so Texas State is historically a pretty good softball team. So this will be I don't know if they're up or down this particular year, but this is one you want to win anyway, because it's the farewell series for Texas State in the Sun Belt. Should be. So go ruin that for them in San Marcos this weekend. Why the hell not? Go sweep the Bobcats. Then you come back for a great series at the Dot against App State, and of course that's always one you want to win. What really sucks is this year we're looking a couple weeks out now. What really sucks this year is that the softball team is away at Coastal Carolina the same weekend that spring game is. Historically, we've been able to, enjoy some football on Saturday and then go Sunday and watch the softball team play, but they're out of town. The good news is the baseball team's in town, so we'll still be able to do that. We'll just walk across the parking lot and enjoy some time at
check out a game.
Yeah.
Well, KD, that would be it, but it's not, because we still have women's basketball to talk about.
Yeah, man.
Yep, the women are playing in the WNIT, was able to host UMBC for that round of the WNIT, and they won 66-53. That moved the Herd to 24-9 on the season.
Mm-hmm.
Lewis UT scored 21 points while the Herd defense posted 11 blocks, man. We talked about this, last week about, exiting early. And we saw this with the men's team and the women's team. We posted some good wins, the women's especially going over 20 wins this season. One of the best number of wins they've had, for a very, very long time. And, they couldn't put it together in the postseason in the Sun Belt tournament, exiting in the first round that they played in. But man, what a way to bounce back. You get your extra opportunity and you win the game. And they played very, very well in that game too. I was able to catch most of it. I was on the road. I was traveling. I was able to catch a good bit of it, and they played very, very well.
Yeah, this was tighter than I thought it was going to be for most of this game, and it looked like the Herd kind of went on a little bit of a tear at the end of it to, they didn't run away with it, but they secured the victory. Let's call it that. So you mentioned Lewis UT, 21 points, Timberland East, 11 points, Meredith Mayer, 8, Peyton Elderton, 9. So these seniors really played well in their final home game at the CAM, which was cool. We talked about that. I'm sure the crowd was energetic and loud and fun to be a part of, and really was a difference maker when it came to crunch time. And like, all right, we got to do something here. Like, we're letting this team hang around, and this would be a big, big letdown if, they were not able to secure the win. I mean, there were 9 lead changes in this game, man. So this was not a, wire to wire victory. It was tighter than it should have been for a long time. But ultimately, Julie Fulks and this team proved, hey, come postseason time, you don't want us in the CAM. And unfortunately for UMBC, they got the Herd at the CAM. And you didn't want that. You don't want that. But now you got to go up and you face, I tweeted this the other day, this is old SoCon rival days. And no, not Youngstown in the SoCon. This is Herd SoCon days, and of course this is more closely related to football and national championship games and things like that. But yeah, that's always what I think of when I think of Youngstown and the Herd. But no, you got to travel up to Youngstown. You're going to play in the Sweet 16 and try to keep it rolling. A lot of storylines in this one. Herd all-time great legend player Shayna Gore is an assistant coach up there at Youngstown State. They've got several West Virginia players on the roster that were undoubtedly recruited up that way by Coach Gore. So some interesting storylines there that will be in this one. All of that is just talking points to me. When the ball tips, and it's time for the rubber to meet the road. I want this Herd squad to just play Julie Fulks basketball and keep it rolling, man.
Yeah. Yep, and that game will be Friday at 6:30 p.m. So as we record, that's tomorrow. And if this episode gets released tomorrow, I don't know when it gets released. In the morning. So as of today, then, that'll be this evening. Check them out, and we hope to keep talking about them.
That's right, man. Hey, look, Julie Fulks answered the question. How will she perform in the postseason? 1-0. That's you know what I'm saying? 1-0. The next question is, can you get to 2-0 in one game at a time right now? It's all we're worried about.
Yeah. Love that these ladies get an opportunity to keep playing, especially for these seniors. Let's keep it rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Katie, that wraps it up for Around the Herd.
One more thing, because we're getting really close now, a couple weeks out for football and spring game weekend. We're going to talk about some ticket pricing and how you can get tickets, tailgating spots, that type of thing. So if you order online, if you go to herdzone.com and you're going to order online, you're going to, of course, pay some added fees. Those are worked into the prices. So if you go online and you want to get a parking pass for the West Lot, it's going to cost you $23, $23.30 to be exact. A ticket is going to cost you $8, and they releasing Dutch Miller Deck Pass tickets for the spring game. Those are going to cost you $50 each. If you buy it online, it's going to be $53. So you can buy everything online, be fine. You're just going to pay a little bit of a premium for the service of buying it online. If you go into the ticket office, of course, you're going to avoid those online fees, and you'll be able to get a parking pass for probably about $20. Game ticket will be about $5, and the Dutch Miller Pass will be $50. So secure your tickets. If you want to get on the deck and watch the game, check it out. It costs you a little bit of a premium, but it's a very cool way to watch a game. Make sure that you are securing that West Lot Pass. Get you some buddies together, couple of tickets, couple of tailgate spots. Come and hang out. We're going to have a great time. And then you should plan on, after the game, walking your tookus over to Jack Cook Field and watching the baseball team. That's what we're going to be doing. That's what we hope to see all of you guys doing. Let's pack out the Joan and then pack out Jack Cook Field and make a freaking day out of it. And if you're really going to be hanging out, come back Sunday and watch baseball too.
Yeah.
I will probably, I don't know if I haven't looked at my flight schedule. I don't know if I'll be able to watch it or not. I don't know when my flight out is, but my flight out's on Sunday. But anyway, you can get tickets online for everything, or you can walk your butt into the ticket office, avoid those fees, and pick them up there. That's all I got. So I hope to see all of you guys on the West Lot on the 11th.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time, man. And we've, ThunderCast has done a tailgate the last few years at the spring game. A lot of fun. Encourage you guys to come out. If you don't have a place to hang out, you're welcome with us. Also, one last note on the deck passes. If you've been considering getting a deck pass for the season, $50 for a spring game ticket to check out the deck in all its glory and seeing if it would be a good fit for you. Try it out, man. The deck's pretty awesome. Great way to check the it's a cool view of the field, from that angle. You got the level up top. You got some chair backs on the bottom underneath if it's a real sunny day. And you're right there on the field. Russ and I and name slipped my mind. I'm so sorry. He's gonna kill me. We went and looked and did a recording. Probably go back on YouTube and find it. We did a little bit of recording. Devin. Yeah. No, as soon as you said his name, it would come back. But we record a little bit there with the deck and what's there. But hey, for $50, you can check it out and have a great time. So,
dip your toe in the water and see if it's something that you want to shell out for the entire season. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. You can really legitimately dip your toe in the water for $50 and check it out, get the perspectives, see if it's for you, what the vibe is like. It's a cool vibe. And think about for game days, it's all you can eat and all you can drink up there as well. So that's all worked into the price of the pass. Very cool. I was fortunate enough. I'll probably never get to see another game up there again, but I was very fortunate enough to see at least one game. It was cool. It was a cool perspective. Yep. I'm more of an end zone type guy myself. I was just on the other end zone this time. But anyway.
Well, and that's it. Yeah. Really great perspective. Great opportunity for somebody to go check out a game in that style. So yeah, check it out on the spring game. But yeah, that's all that I've got, KD.
All right, man. Well, I've got nothing else. So for the third time, pressure's on.
Pressure's on. Hey, whether you see us at the Joan, whether you see us at the Dot, or whether you see us Friday at 6 o'clock taking on number 15 Coastal Carolina, wherever you see us, we're going to be saying, go Herd.
Go Herd. It's the ThunderCast. I'll see you guys in a couple weeks. I am pumped. Later.